Modelo on a thirsty Thursday. We are moments away from visiting with the head basketball coach at Texas Tech, Grant McCasland, who's got his team playing as well as anybody in the country right now. 16-4, five straight wins for Texas Tech now, and eight of their last nine, which includes wins over Duke, BYU, and Houston in that stretch. So, I mean, not many teams have beaten Duke, BYU, or Houston this year. Texas Tech has wins over those three in eight of their last nine. This team's rolling right now, James.
Yeah, when this team's not in foul trouble, they've shown that they're pretty much unbeatable. Like the Colorado game on January 10th, which was almost 3 weeks ago. That's where this winning streak began. And they got out of Boulder by the skin of their teeth because of foul trouble. When this team is on the floor, they are unstoppable. They have just been rolling, and the offensive production continues to climb. Defensively, it's night and day from where they were back in November. They are rolling.
All right. Speaking of, Grant McCasland joining us here on Big 12 Radio. Winners in five straight, eight of their last nine. Coach, how are you? Good to see you.
Great, fellas. Good to see y'all. What a treat.
Yeah, appreciate this very much so for us as well. All right. Is there like a target in terms of 3-point makes per game for you guys? Is it like we're looking for 10 per game? What does that look like for you?
Ari, I love it, man. Just right to it, man. Don't even like how many 3-point makes is there and what's the number?
It was either that, Grant, or Chance McMillan's text. So I figured, let's start with the 3-point shooting.
Oh man, James can tell you he's been around us. He's watched all this. He's in the trenches on it. There's not a number that we're shooting for. I mean, with this is an efficiency game. It's not a like a match the numbers game. I mean, I think we go into games knowing what the range and what it is, but I think you can take last year's NCAA tournament as kind of a picture of what it really needs to be. So we played UNC Wilmington in the first round, and they doubled JT literally every time, and they came with the same double. And so we shot the most threes in the history of the tournament and made the most threes, and one guy did, and that was without Chance McMillan, ironically. But then you fast forward to the next game, which was Drake, and they literally wasn't going to let us shoot threes. So JT and Darian Williams both scored the most. I think it was the least amount of threes we made for the whole season. So, and won the game. So I think it's just a matter of what's the defense going to do. Because if you're going to play JT one-on-one down there, then I mean, it's going to be difficult, obviously, but we're going to allow him to go make plays and score. So I'll tell you, it's not really a number more than it is an efficiency.
Man, Grant, dude, the first half of that Baylor game, you guys hit 14 threes. I've never seen a team shoot like that. It was incredible. How much do you guys work on not just getting shots up, but spacing and relocating when teams do double JT in the post?
Well, let's be honest, that's all we've worked on. I mean, it's like, what are your leverage points? And then how do you put yourself in the best position? Like, I'll give you an example. The first time we played Houston, we really lifted out of the corners early, and we shouldn't have. And we ended up tightening those windows, and against a Houston team that's already that good. And then you watch the last possessions of the game, and Don really did a great job of holding the corner when JT caught it off the double team. And then you make that guy make a decision. And Don hadn't made a three in the second half, and then he makes back-to-back threes in the most important time. And I think the integrity of the spacing allows you to create the advantage at a higher rate, which gives you a little more time, which gives you a little better chance of getting it off and shooting it less contested, which the efficiency numbers go through the roof. So give our guys credit because they really are starting to consciously see not only what we've told them works, they're starting to actually see the value in it and starting to adapt it themselves in a way that, let's just say the play was to have this type of spacing, but they come down and change defensive coverages, and then we flip it on them and we're on the wrong side of the floor. They're starting to see, like, while it's happening without us instructing, like, no, you got to cut through and I got to take this spot. And man, their belief is at an all-time high, because what you saw in the Baylor game is more a confidence level of like, these are all the scenarios at which we get the right threes. And so then when you're taking the right threes, I think your confidence goes through the roof too. Just your ability and belief that you can make it. So you're not taking a bunch of hard shots in regards to what the numbers say are great shots for our team, and our team really believes in it. So then when you get them, everybody on the whole team believes it's going in, not just one person. That's, I think, how you gain the ultimate confidence.
Talk with Grant McCasland here, head basketball coach for Texas Tech, as his team prepares for UCF on Saturday in Orlando. 16-4, 6-1 in the Big 12. You mentioned after the Houston win that you got was a call or a text from Chance McMillan.
Well, no, actually it was before, because he's teammates with a couple guys that were Cougars that we played against, and we don't win that game in Houston last year if it wasn't for Chance McMillan. I mean, his belief. I tell this story a lot, but I've been thrown out of the game. And was on the way to the locker room, and the last thing in my mind is like, I need to address our team and tell them we're still going to win this game. So, a part of it is a little bit of you're fighting for your team, and then there's this conscious part of you as a coach. My wife always laughs at me because I can go from like really upset to really calm really quick. She's like, you've got something wrong with you. I'm like, definitely I do. But like, you go from like, I'm being thrown out to, I got to make sure our team's right. So I run back into the huddle, and Chance had already talked to our team. And it's almost like they looked at me like, yeah, coach, we're good. Just go ahead and go to the locker room. We don't need you anymore, and that's like his belief, and that's who he is. And that's how he approached it. And he's always been that way for us and for our program. Well, he had lost, so I think he had to post a picture of him, doing the Houston Cougar sign with a few of the Houston guys and LJ. And so then he texts me. He's like, Coach, we need to win this game, because he had a little picture that he wanted to post. So it was before the game that he texted him, said, hey, we need to win this. Obviously, he texted me after too and said he appreciated it. And then he sent me the picture of him with those guys having to do the guns up, wreck 'em picture together. So he definitely is invested in our program, and really is the reason why we're where we are today.
Where is Chance? Is he in the G League?
Yeah, it's playing with the Golden State Warriors G League team. So gonna have a chance. I mean, he broke his foot during workouts for NBA teams, and still got picked up by those guys on one of those two-way, on one of those G League contracts. And so he just actually started playing less than a month ago, and really starting to play great basketball. So he'd been out for 5 months and trying to get healthy for this season, and finally he's playing again.
Well, you guys got redemption over Houston on Saturday. Texas Tech is on a heater. They've won 5 in a row. We're joined by their head coach, Grant McCasland, here on Big 12 today. JT Toppin, so you added a note before the Baylor game with us that he's added 16 pounds of muscle, which I think you can see. The other thing is, I know you guys were doing some stuff with his shot at the foul line, and I've got him, I think, like 16 of his last 21, like 75% from the foul line. He knocked him down against Houston. Just the little things that make him a complete player continue to get better and better.
Yeah, he really works. I mean, yesterday was a day that we didn't actually practice with our team. We did individual work with guys that wanted it, because we practiced the day before, and we're trying to ramp this thing up for the UCF game. But JT's in there on his own twice. He just does a ball handling workout. He does a close to the basket shots, and then he works on free throws, and he works on threes, and his confidence is really growing. And like anybody, man, if you work at it, I mean, I know there's this real game scenario that heightens the stress of it. But when you've worked at the rate that he's worked, you start to see such progress that you don't second guess yourself in games. And that's where I'll tell you, the season started with JT. I think he was still holding on to last year's Florida game where he didn't shoot it well from the free throw line. And just, there's a lack of confidence in the moment but it's not in the fact that he didn't work on it all summer long. And I think he starts to get into games like don't miss, don't miss, don't miss. And you start to translate that to, other areas of your game, shooting threes, and then you start to feel the squeeze. And I think he's just at a place where he bottomed out enough that he's like, man, I'm done with the worrying about failure. I'm really concentrating on winning, and he's just playing this to win. I mean, there's a clip I showed our team of a zoom on his face coming out of a timeout against Houston, and all he's saying to our team is, let's get a stop, let's get a stop, we're getting a stop. And really his belief in our team, and you can see that's the way he's shooting free throws, because he's always had the work, and I think he can shoot at a 75 to 80% because he does it every day in practice. I mean, honestly, I watch it, so I never was concerned about him making free throws. It's really about just that, going through that evolution process for himself to deal with the disappointment. And he was really disappointed when he would miss in games. You could see it on his face. He'd come to timeouts and he would look like that it was the worst day of his life because he'd missed a few free throws. And I think the Duke game was kind of one that we started getting over the hump on, where we're going to win even if you miss free throws, just that belief that we can do it no matter what. And then his work starts to take over, and man, JT's work habits are real, man. The dude works as hard as anybody in our program, which I think allows them to have the success that he's having.
I know one of the big pursuits for you this offseason was to add, some depth behind JT to maybe take some of that wear and tear off over the course of the season. Josiah Mosley's back. What about Luke Bamboye? Two guys that certainly we're going to factor in terms of that depth behind JT.
Yeah, it was great to have Josiah playing the game. I mean, he's practiced. Said it afterwards to the media, but the guy's practiced 2 times.
Wow.
Since he's been a Red Raider. That's it. I mean, I was gone with USA Basketball the month of June with the U19 World, and Christian was gone with Germany the whole time. So when we got back, Josiah had already hurt his foot and he was out, the whole time. And then we tried to bring him back and tried to, progress him, but just wasn't quite ready to go. And then he has 2 practices and his first game's against Houston. I mean, that's a pretty tough introduction for anybody into a college basketball season. But man, did he handle that so well. And to his credit, he's been shooting a lot and really been working on his game even when he's been injured. I mean, he was in a boot forever, and he was out there working on free throws and shooting. And anytime he could do anything, he was trying to do it. But he only practiced twice going into that game with our team. So to think he's only practiced with Christian, JT, wow, that crew for only two practices really says a lot about his character. And then Luke, we're taking it day to day. I mean, he's been practicing with us. That's a positive. Whether he plays or not on Saturday, I mean, all that will have to be determined on how he responds to our practices the next couple days.
Grant, do you ever get time in season to unwind, like at home in the evenings? I know you've got a house full of kids like Ari and myself. Is there ever a moment where you just sit back and relax at any point?
I wouldn't use the word relax. I don't think that's quite appropriate.
You're not on the couch, feet up, chilling with some Netflix, just kind of coming back down?
No, man, when you got 4 kids and this deal, like, you better be as scrappy at home as you are when you're at the office. I mean, like, the real work happens when you land those feet on the ground at the house. I mean, I used to try to do the deal where I'd pull in the garage and talk on the phone, and my wife would come out and be like, what are you doing still on the phone in the garage? You know what I mean? Like, Life 360 crushes me every time, So I get those phone calls done before I even drive to the door, because it dings and my wife knows I'm home. And, when they were little, she just walked out there and like have a kid in her hand, like, like handing them to me, like, no, it's yours now. So I just learned real early on, like, man, you better have as much energy when you get home as you do when you're at the office. So I'll probably take a deep breath in my office at the desk before I leave, more so than I do at home. But no, there's nothing I would rather do, man. Our kids are amazing. I got 3 that are playing basketball, 1 in college and 2 in high school, and they're all on teams that are great, and they all have great hearts, and they're great teammates, and they're scrappy, and they're tough, and they play hard. I just love being around them. I love watching them. I showed you, I think, James, a picture of my daughter who'd sent me a text message, a video of her shooting. And, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I kind of gave her some advice, and then she texts me back, "It's working." It's like good. I try not to coach them. I try to just to be dad. I try to love them. I try to spend time with them. This snow has come and this break has come at a great time. We had a winter storm blow through here. We had a
Yeah.
full house against Houston. Our fans were unbelievable in this game. But this break came at a great time for our team. I mean, our guys needed this rest. I probably needed it to be snowed in the mornings, to not have to rush out the door. Our whole family eating breakfast and drinking coffee, spending time with my wife. I mean, I think there's some intentional things, fellas, that we got to do as husbands, just to really connect with our wives. I mean, I think that's as important as anything we do, and more important than being dad, more than important than being coach, more important than calling timeouts, and it's just like what we do as husbands, because that's what our kids see, and that's what I think I want our team to see, is me loving my wife in such a way that gives hope for people in a genuine way, because that's, I think, the foundation of all this. And she's my best friend. She's awesome. Cece's her name. She played soccer at Tech. I mean, like last night, I picked her up from the airport, and we've started a rock climbing gym. And we get in the car, and she's got the TCU Houston game on her phone, and I was like, "Babe, put that up." I'm the one telling her to put it up. Like, I've been watching film all night long. I don't want to see that right now. I need to hear what you got to say. It's funny. We switched roles, because usually it would be the other way around, her telling me to put
Right.
film. She's not like that at all. She wants to sit over my shoulder and watch film. I mean, she's so invested in this in the coolest way. I mean, she was mean as it gets when she played soccer. She didn't even know she was mean, but she was always in fights with the other girl. She was a great defender at Tech. She was a starter and a Big 12, great player in the Big 12. So it's really cool to just go on this journey. But really, I think the key to this is just connecting with her in a way that kind of gives hope and breathes life in everything that we do.
Wow. Well said.
Dude, that's so awesome.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, and couldn't agree with you more. Grant McCasland, the head basketball coach at Texas Tech. Grant, you're the best. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon, bud. Be well.
Man, great to be with y'all. Wreck 'em.
Great. Grant McCasland joining us here on Big 12 Radio. Along with James Westling, I'm Ari Temkin. We'll react to what we just heard next. This is Big 12 Today, presented by Modelo, heard on TuneIn, watched on Big 12 Studios.